Good day. This is Curtis Harris of Red Pill, Blue Pill Choices. Today's video is going to be about the audacity of Obama. Former President Barack Obama, he's mad at black men. Ooh. Um, Black men are pissing me off, he says. And he's mad that we're not supporting Kamala Harris. Well, that's his issue. That's his problem. But the Democratic Party is sending out the big guns right now because she's not picking up the steam that he had during his run in 2008, I guess, and also in 2012. But he was different from her. And this video will show you why. It's Antoine Daniels, and I highly recommend that you go to his YouTube channel and watch the entire video and his other content, which is very good. All right, without further ado, I encourage you to please subscribe, like the video, comment, and also share.
Because my understanding, based on reports I'm getting from campaigns and communities, is that we have not yet seen the same kinds of energy and turnout in all quarters of our neighborhoods and communities as we saw when I was running.
Fair use, fair use, fair use.
I also want to say that that seems to be more pronounced with the brothers. So if you don't mind, just for a second, I'm going to speak to y'all directly.
So at this point, Obama pulls up to a campaign stop to Kamala Harris's headquarters. I believe this is in Pennsylvania. And this is before he goes on to do a rally and a speech. So the Democrats have basically pulled out the big guns. They said, look, we're not getting the traction that we think that we are. These polls is lying to the American people, trying to make it seem like the race is closer than it really is. Trump is absolutely trouncing her all across the board. J.D. Vance just got done beating up on Tim Walz inside of the debate. And they're concerned that we don't have the same enthusiasm that Kamala Harris can generate versus what he experienced in 2008 and in 2012. And so Obama feels the need to come and speak directly to the brothers, to black men. He's never spoken to us before, never had any enthusiasm for us unless we were voting for him. Now they feel as though they can bamboozle us and hit us with the ooop shebang, the okie doke, a second time around with a second candidate, and we're supposed to be enthusiastic about voting for Kamala Harris based off of identity politics instead of what's best for our country, instead of what's best for our family, instead of what's best for our people and our neighborhoods. And Democrats have been running this country as far as being in the White House the last 12 of the 16 years, including times that he was in there. His enduring message was to the alphabet community, but we're going to get through it. We're going to play this whole thing. And he knows the cameras is on, so this is not hidden. And he's speaking specifically to us black men. Let's see what the message is.
And say that when you have a choice that is this clear, when on the one hand you have somebody who grew up like you, knows you, went to college with you,
then how come she ain't marry one of us? Don't worry about it. We'll get there. Obama is our new punching bag. They wanted to parade him around like he's the Messiah. Let's let him cook. We're going to get some more context before we stop this and react to it.
Understands the struggles and pain and joy that comes from those experiences. Who's had to work harder and do more and overcome and achieves the second highest office in the land.
Given to us.
And is putting forward concrete proposals to correctly address the things that are vital in our neighborhoods and our communities, from housing to making sure that our mothers and our fathers and our grandparents can afford medicine, and making sure that we are dealing with prices that are too high and rents that are too high, and are committed to making sure that we maintain the Affordable Care Act, so everybody's got health care, and cares about things like education and entrepreneurship in our neighborhoods. And that's on one side. And on the other side, you have someone who has consistently shown disregard, not just for the communities, but for you as a person. And you're thinking about sitting out? I'm not. But, you know, because of Pookie might be. And you're coming up with all kinds of reasons and excuses. I've got a problem with that. Because part of it makes me think, and I'm speaking to men directly.
Fair use.
Part of it makes me think that, well, you just aren't feeling the idea of having a woman as president. Mm-hmm.
He really think that he really spitting right now. He really think that this is 2008. He really think that this is his era. This is his generation where he can talk to us and we supposed to get inspired by your hope message when we can look at what happened over the last 3.5 years and compare it to what happened in 2016 through 2020. And when I do a compare and contrast, I realize that the opportunities were greater and we had better times than what we've experienced over the last 3.5 years. Hey, family, black people, black men in particular. We gonna use the whole you don't want a woman to lead you trope to then justify you and use reverse psychology to get you to go out there and vote for a person that is completely incompetent. Completely incompetent. She admitted that she'd be no different than what Biden has implemented, and that she was in the room for overwhelming majority of the decisions, especially the important ones, that's happened over the last 3.5 years. So we supposed to ignore the record inflation. We supposed to ignore all of these proxy wars. We supposed to ignore what's happening in Israel and Ukraine. We supposed to ignore just what recently happened with the Hurricane Helene situation. We're supposed to ignore the migrant crisis and just vote for her just because she black and she a woman and because she Democrat and because that's what our parents did before us that led us down into this trap and this problem area in the first place. This is y'all fault. Y'all have controlled the White House the last 12 of the 16 years. And the only time that we had troops coming home, the only time that we had unprecedented peace, the only time that we had prosperity, the only time that we got a tax cut, the only time we started really talking about closing off our borders and building better walls, the only time that we was really, really dedicated to renegotiating the North America Free Trade Agreement and putting tariffs on China in order to save some of our industries as our manufacturing base continued to leave the United States of America was when Trump was in office.
And I'd like to add at this point that doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results is the definition of insanity. We have been, as Democrats, doing the same thing over and over and over again, and we do not get the outcomes that we were expecting. So we really deserve what we get, to be quite honest with you. It's time for a change. I agree wholeheartedly with Antoine Daniels. If you also want to find out what was the real difference between Obama and Trump, Brother Tariq Nasheed breaks it down for you. So I highly recommend that you go to his channel, his YouTube channel as well. He is a very, very well researched and very intelligent brother. As you know, he has a very, very popular series out. So I highly recommend that you go to Tariq Nasheed and also check out Brother Antoine Daniels, as well as a number of other sources. Obama was not the be all end all in the black community. And I hope by now you see that. So before I allow him to chastise me, uh, or to use reverse psychology to vote for someone who I believe is totally unqualified and doesn't give a two shits about us, period, as black men. She made her bones by prosecuting us in California. And by the way, she happens to be married to a white man. For all intents and purposes, that does not sound like someone who wants to support me. Anyway, we're going to get back to uh, Antoine Daniels.
Because what? Because you said so?
And you're coming up with other alternatives and other reasons for that.
No, we not. No, we not. We telling you directly to your face. We identify with masculinity. We don't always 100% agree with every single thing that Trump says, but guess what? He says what he feels and he means what he says, and we not willing to deal with another chameleon or person to sell you hopes and dreams, don't have no way to pay for it, and continue to throw us under the bus, throw us under the bus while continuing to let unprecedented amount of number of migrants into this country to take over your cities and the towns. And we supposed to mobilize with you? Why? Because we black?
And speaking about the migrant situation, as you know, I live here in New York City, Brooklyn, and our mayor is under attack because he, rightfully so, decided that the migrant situation was not working for the city, and we were overrun. Our resources were being drained, and the federal government was not coming to our rescue. Actually, migrants were being shipped from the south and from the west here to New York City because New York City was a sanctuary city. Cities like Chicago are being overrun right now with migrants. And I have nothing against migrants, but you have to understand that there was an agenda that was specifically created by the Democratic Party, the Democrats, to allow these folk in who 9 times out of 10, if and when they have the opportunity to vote, they will vote Democrat. Okay. But at the same time, our borders and resources are being drained, and we're shipping our money over to Israel and the Ukraine. While in places like North Carolina, where they're recovering from a hurricane, they're only allocating $750 to each household. That's insane. That is insane. Let me know what you think in the comments, all right? Please, I need to know what you really think about what's going on in this country. Okay, back to Antoine.
Get the hell out of here, bro. Where they find him at, man? Send him back to Chicago or wherever it is that he had to focus on building his presidential library. But this is nonsense, bro. Never been so disappointed in this guy in my entire life, man.
And I think anybody you are talking to in a barbershop, anybody you are talking to in your house, in your family, at church, who is coming with that kind of attitude, I think you have to ask them, well, how can that be? Because the women in our lives have been getting our backs this entire time.
Oh, Jesus Christ. Somebody read Bill
They've been
Obama.
raising us and working and having our backs. And when we get in trouble and the system's not working for us, they're the ones who are out there marching and protesting. And so now you're thinking about sitting out or even supporting somebody who has a history of denigrating you because you think that's a sign of strength. Because
no more simping. Trump 2024. Let's bring masculinity back. Let's bring closing off our borders back. Let's bring focusing on America first back. Let's bring American manufacturing back. Let's bring focusing on bringing the best things of the past into the future, and we need to go back and make America great again. I've never been more enthused about making sure that we mobilize and we focus on getting the Republican Party elected. I'm never going back to the Democratic plantation with these liberal policies, especially from a person whose main purpose and whose main legacy is to advocate for a community that then replaced you from the civil rights movement over to the feminist movement, all the way over into the alphabet community movement. And now we got this migrant crisis on our hand. I better wait.